Hey guys, Toby Morrison here. Today I wanted to talk about the importance of sleep, and whilst I'm in this peaceful environment here in France, I thought there was no better topic to talk about while it's nice and quiet. So sleep is like the muse of health, and it's so common that a lot of us have trouble sleeping from time to time, especially when we're struggling with sickness or illness on top of just everyday life. Stress gets in the way. Being overtired but wired is usually common, and more often than not, in the 21st century we're just constantly wired, literally, to our screens, whether it's our phones, our laptops, our TVs, all these things play a huge role in sleep and how it affects us. So first of all, sleep is so vital for recovery in terms of bodily functions, how our bodies move and work, and how they repair, because without sleep our bodies don't repair. So typically what happens, we fall asleep. That is actually when we rest and repair, or rest and recover. When we wake up, hopefully if we have a good sleep and the body's done a good job, then we wake up and then we're able to perform tasks during the day to be able to do what we need to do and function. So when we don't sleep, or when we have interrupted sleep or sleep disturbances, this is when it affects us completely. It affects our brain function, how we concentrate. Your concentration levels will be completely low if you've got sleep disturbance. Same thing with brain fog. Just really hard to kind of be in the moment. Complete tiredness, lethargy. And it can affect your gut and all sorts of things. The other thing with sleep is it completely whacks you out of your routine, because if you don't sleep one night, then you're more than likely to rest during the day or sleep too much during the day, and then that affects your nighttime cycle. So the first understanding you need to know is that sleep is really, really important for our overall health. And if we look back from over time, before there was electricity, when the sun would come up, which it is coming up right now in my face, it's 8 a.m. here in France, that's when people wake, and then when it gets dark, that's when people go to sleep. Back then there was no electricity to keep us awake. So one of the big things is getting into a constant or a consistent routine of sleep cycles. Our body works best off routine. As soon as we're out of whack, our body starts to kind of deteriorate, and it doesn't function as optimally as possible, or as we would like. So the first step is to get into a routine that suits you. Now, if you're really struggling at the moment and you're completely wiped out, you need to listen to your body, obviously, and honour that. If you are sleeping during the day, try not to sleep too much, because it is going to affect your nighttime sleeping. Now, there's two different kind of chemicals in the body. There's serotonin, and then there's melatonin. Serotonin is used really to wake us up. So being in the sun creates more serotonin for us to be alive, be awake, so we can see, and we've got that light in our eyes. Now when it gets dark, that's when it switches around and switches onto melatonin. And you may have heard of melatonin tablets, which helps with sleeping. The body produces that naturally as well. So if we're constantly in front of a light, or in really bright lights at night, then that's creating more serotonin, which is not really going to help your cause for more sleep, or quality of sleep, let's say. So it's really important that when you do wake up, that you don't just lie in bed for another 3 to 4 hours, even if you feel really, really bad, because that is just going to make it worse for you in the long run. And it's a really negative cycle to get into, and it's hard to get out of once you're in it. And I know, because I've been there before, lots of times actually. And a lot of people go through this. So the most important thing is not necessarily setting an alarm, but trying to get up at the same time every day. Yes, you can rest for a little while in bed and slowly get up, and obviously it has to suit you, but making sure that you've got a strict wake time that you can get up, and more importantly, get into a routine. And this goes into your nutrition, this goes into your daily activities and everything, because it all affects sleep. If you do nothing during the day, even if you're at a bare minimum of health, your body is not actually being used. Therefore, it will not be tired at night. If you're constantly resting all day, your body just can't switch off. It doesn't know what time of day it is. Doesn't know whether it's morning or night, because it's constantly in the dark and not actually consistently moving. Okay, now again, everyone's different. So movement for somebody might be sitting out of bed. Movement might be going to the toilet once a day. Movement might be going for a run for 20 minutes. Again, everyone's different, and it depends on where you're at with your health. Let's face it, we all go through different phases of life, whether it's stress, illness, you know, and good health as well. So depending on where you're at, it's really important that you start to get into a good cycle. Now you'll notice that the healthiest people sleep the best. And that's really the goal for everyone, is getting healthy so we do sleep well, okay? Eating and drinking stimulants is obviously one thing that you want to cut out as well. Especially sugars will keep you awake all night, and it'll give you gut disturbances and things like that. So if you're drinking coffee and all that kind of stuff, it's really fake energy anyway. So you want to try and get rid of that, or at least, you know, get it done in the morning rather than the nighttime. Now, in this society right now, we're all living quite a yang lifestyle, so we're very extroverted, or, you know, external, and we're not internal. And this is something that we've got to continually work on, and I, for one, struggle with this big time, but I'm definitely learning at the moment. So with that being said, is if everything's out of you, so you're exerting energy all the time, you're constantly researching, you're constantly doing things, you're constantly on your phone, you're constantly on your computer, you're constantly working, you're not having any time for being down, for being in. So maybe dedicate 1 hour a day where you just try and internalize for a little bit. It might be meditation, it might be just breathing, it might be just sitting still, it might be just, you know, having your own time. You know, I'm starting to learn how to have Toby time now. It's taken me 7 years to realize that. So, you know, or 27 years, I say. So, you know, it's really important that you start to figure out what works for you. But more importantly, getting into a structured daily routine will really help you long term. You'll notice if you don't do much, or if you don't have a set routine and you're kind of, you know, doing too little, you'll find that you won't have a restful night's sleep. But then again, if you do too much and you're completely wired and adrenalized and overtired, you will also struggle to sleep. So you want to find that right balance for you. Again, this goes back to getting into a consistent routine. If you are sleeping during the day, that's absolutely fine. Make sure you sleep no later than 3 p.m. because, again, if you go too far into the night, you're going to find it really hard to switch off, you know, when you want to go to bed around, you know, 10 p.m. Now, there's been research as well that says that your body repairs best at or from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. So I think the physical recovery starts at 10 till 12, and then the most cognitive, you know, mental recovery starts from 12 till 2. So it's really important that you do try and get to bed around that area, that time. Whilst it's not achievable for everyone, it's important that you at least try and do that, you know, a few nights a week. So you'll find a huge difference. Even if you get the same amount of hours from, let's say if you went to bed at 2 a.m. and you woke up at 10 a.m. and you slept the same hours, but you just brought it back from 10 p.m. till 8 a.m., you'd find a big difference in how you feel when you wake up. Okay, now again, this is not an overnight cure. This is not a quick fix. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes understanding first and then applying. And again, there's going to be days where you have an off day and you don't feel great and you don't want to get out of bed, and that's normal. But it's really important that you have something to look forward to, or something to get you out of bed. It's very easy to stay down when you're feeling down. So just remember that, you know, by even just sitting out in the sun, just like I am right now in the morning, it will increase your energy levels and it will give you a sense of awakeness, and it will wake the body up. Whereas if you just stay indoors and stay in your bedroom and stay in the dark, you're constantly, you know, kind of not getting the most out of your day. Again, as you start to wake up earlier and start to stick to a routine, your body will naturally get tired in a good way by the night time. And that's what you want to achieve. I mean, it's absolutely normal that we get tired. That's our body's sign of switching off. It's when we either push through it too much, which is also detrimental, or we do too little, is where our body kind of goes, what's going on? So one, get into a routine. Remember, serotonin during the day, melatonin at night. So, you know, try and cut down computer time, or at least switch off the screen, or the brightness of the screen down to a minimal. You know, turn the phone off, turn the computer off at night before you go to bed. Even listening to like really loud, heavy kind of yang music is something that you don't really want to do at night time, because it's going to wake you up. Listen to soothing music. Same thing with breathing. If you're breathing through out your mouth all the time, you're constantly switching on the sympathetic nervous system. You want to change that around and work on your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the relax, rest and digest system. So again, your body does all the eliminating and processing when it's asleep, not when it's awake. So most people think that when you're exercising and training or doing any movement or working, that's when growth happens, but it's actually not true. It's when we actually rest and recover that growth happens, and that's a big misconception out there too. As regards to movement, depending on where you're at with your health levels, movement can be fantastic, whether it's just light stretching, if you're at quite a low level, it might be just, getting around the house and doing things like that. But as you get healthier, which is the goal obviously, you want to implement more that your body can build strength and stamina without making you feel any worse than you currently do. And that starts with restorative movement, things like floor-based exercises and restorative movement, stuff that we teach in our online recovery program. And then as you get healthy and stronger, then you can build into strength training and whatever you really want to do. People like horse riding, people like bike riding. You want to get to the point where your body can do what you would like it to do. That's the goal. So, and without sleep, that's really, really hard to maintain and do. So, if we lived in the olden days, it would be nice because we could switch off all the electronics and we'd just have to fall asleep when it got dark, and eventually our bodies would just kind of switch off anyway. So that's just a few tips on sleep. I hope that helps. Another quick tip that you can implement is with nutrition is having regular meal times. This will set the body up with the digestive system to know that it's breakfast, lunch and dinner. That's really important too, especially when you're completely out of whack, and even if you are resting a lot in between and you're sleeping during the day, that's a great thing to do just to get the body understanding that it's not nighttime, it's daytime to eat and digest. That way when you do go to sleep, your body kind of knows when it's day and night. So you've just got to remember that sometimes the body just needs a reboot, and by having set times and set systems in place, it'll start to really gather information and start to do the right things. The body's an unbelievable source if we start to do the right things for it. So over time, as you start to get healthier and do the right things, you will sleep better, you'll eat better, you'll digest better, hopefully you'll rest better, and hopefully you can be able to move better. And they're really the key elements to health. Now, it's not rocket science, and it's not a quick fix, but I mean, we're here on the planet for 80 to 90 to 100 plus years, so why not work at it one day at a time? Hope that helps. Hope you resonated with it. If anything's helped you with your sleep, be proactive with it and comment down below what has helped you with your sleep in the past. Because not just one thing works, and obviously any little bits of tips and tricks can help someone else on their journey to improving themselves. Other than that, if you have any questions, comment below, and also sign up to my free daily coaching at cfshealth.com, where I send out a daily email which hopefully inspires you and gives you some form of information and understanding that can only make your life a little bit better. Hope that helps. Bye.